Hey guys, I'm Nick and today we will be creating this effect with particles in Houdini. And the key point here is that we will be rendering it with Octane inside of Houdini instead of transferring the Alembic file to the Cinema 4D. If you find this video helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel. It's the best way how you can support me right now. Let's go! So as I said earlier, we will be working with the particles, and especially we will be looking how we can use attributes and use them inside Octane to create really interesting results. As you can see here, some of the particles grouped by specific attribute are using emissive material, and some of them are just basic glossy. And this cool circular noise effect can also be used in many different ways that I will talk a bit later. So let's start with dropping a geonode. Now here we will need a torus, and yeah, that looks good. Let's change it to smooth wire shader, and here let's scatter some points. Now for this particular time, let's scatter just 10,000. We will be using much more when the dynamics will be set. Now let's drop a pop network, and here let's jump into it. So now all the magic should be placed between source first input and wire pops into here. So let's start by changing the emission type to all geometry, and we can turn off the guide here. So nothing really changes, and at this stage it's absolutely correct. So let's also change the impulse activation in the burst tab of the source first input to $, simulation frame equals 1. So we don't have particles spawning every time. So now let's add our forces. Let's start with pull force, and let's start small, maybe let's say 1. Yeah, that's definitely too much. So let's take it down to 0.5 maybe. That's still too much. Let's bring it to the 0.8. Okay, yeah, this looks good. Especially we have like 10 seconds, or should be 10 seconds, and they are really they are not dissolving that fast. Now let's add the pop axis force. This will make our particles go around. So let's just quickly check what it does. Yep, it does exactly what I need. So here maybe let's dump up the axis, the orbit speed. Yeah, that's good. But for now you can see that they are just leaving the screen, and in the end they all will just fly away. So we need something to actually bring them back to their position, at least at some time. So let's add a pop attract, and pop attract is basically it basically attracts, and you can see that it's kind of pulsating, but it's not that effect that I'm looking for. And what we can do here, we can set the reversal distance to, let's say, 5. Sorry. Yep. And the maximum distance should be, I don't know, millions. Because basically maximum distance, it's particles farther than this value from their goal point will receive no forces. But we want to affect all the particles. I mean, if they are flying really far away, we still want to kind of suck them back here. Oh, I think 5 is too much. 2 was correct. Yeah, so now we are pulsating. Yeah. Okay, this doesn't look that pretty, so let's just add a few millions particles. Should be good. Okay, maybe for the sake of speed, it's 1 million. Yep. Okay, let's try to simulate it. I think I would like to see a little bit more noise here. So let's get back to the forces, and here let's also bring the roughness down. And roughness basically, yeah, it's a scale of noise added with each iteration. So I would say let's make it a bit more noisier. And for the turbulence, let's say 4. Yeah, I think this should be good. So I will just click to frame 150, or even, yeah, frame to 200 should be good to go. And while we are just simulating this stuff in the background, there are several projects where this could be applied. So it's pretty dynamic and energetic effect. And if you have something, some tube, so imagine maybe an energy drink, or I don't know, really some sporty perfume or something like that, you can just place the tube inside of this donut and create all these particles swirling around. So yeah, this is the exact effect I'm talking about. So what we are doing here, we are basically, you can export the animation like this. And I think you can hear that my laptop is going crazy right now. So let's hope it will not like burn right now. So yeah, that's the thing. So imagine something placed in the center. I mean, better angle is maybe this. Yeah, so we are, and that's cool. I think that's cool. Okay, now I think we might have to drop down the roughness a bit. Yeah, let's maybe grab some frames. This effect is really cool, I think. I mean, it goes wide and then back. So yeah, this exact thing looking pretty cool. But now we should add a bit more points. So let's switch this to 5 million. And let's resimulate that. I think it was kind of 150. Okay, now it seems that it's simulated. Yeah, look at that. I think it's pretty dope. So now let's make it a little bit more interesting in terms of rendering this stuff in Octane. So actually, let's just set a basic Octane setup. There will be a free heap file where there will be a preset, like all the stuff you need, and you can just open that file and copy paste all the Octane stuff into your next project or current project. So I will just briefly go through all the stuff we might need and set up the camera and a few lights. So for the first thing, we need the rope network. So the rope network, basically we need Octane custom render, and in the rope net nothing actually happens. More stuff to be done in the shop net. So here we are dropping the Octane network, and this is our render settings. Now let's delete this, and now add a render target. And here is basically all the settings you will have in your render targets in Cinema 4D. So we drop a thin lens camera and attach that to the camera. We drop an environment texture. In my case, it will be just black background, RGB color. And now you will need the camera imager, ray tracing. Now what else we should attach the imager? We need the kernel path tracing. Yep, let's attach that here. And I don't know why, maybe it's a bug with my Octane, but post-processing node isn't just working for me. I mean, you can try attaching post-processing node here and try to experiment with that and maybe add a bloom or something like that, but it's not working for me, so I'll skip that. So in the path tracing, let's decrease the sample count to, let's say, 2000. Specular depth also to 8. Scatter, okay. And J-clamp 50. Yeah, those are just my default settings that I'm starting with. The camera, nothing to adjust here. Environment, imager, yeah, everything good here. Okay, I think that's it. So those are two nodes that are basically the brain or the main component of the Octane render. Now let's drop a camera. For the camera, it's an easy way to set it up. So you just click here, go to the cam 1, select your camera, and also select this lock icon. And now you can move your camera, and you will be not only navigating into the viewport, you will be actually like positioning your camera. So here I would like to set all the stuff to 0 except the y-axis. Set the camera 90 degrees top-down view, and 0 out any other angles, so we have this stuff aligned properly. Also in the camera settings, I like to set also the resolution, and we might play with the focal distance, maybe something like this, 58. And yeah, I think this is pretty cool. Let's check the positioning. 0 out. Okay, now it looks good. Okay, now we need to set up some of the lights. No, if they're, yeah, Octane lights. So now let's jump out of our camera. We need to press this lock icon again, so we are not moving our camera. And with these lights, let's just grab one of them, move to this side, maybe rotate, because it should point to the object. Now let's get back. I think we can move it here and duplicate this light and move this one to this side. The main thing here at the geo node, we should add the material and also set up the Octane to render these points of actual particles. So let's go to the shopnet and Octane network. So just for now, let's add a glossy material. Yeah, let's make it white, no problem. And here, let's name it particle material. Now in the geo, let's go to the Octane. Nope, let's go to the render first and choose your shopnet, and here select the particle material. And the Octane, there's a tab called particles, and let's check this checkbox render as sphere particles. And now let's enable our camera and open the IPR. Oh, actually, we forgot to specify here in the ROPNet. There will be a default render target, but we should delete that and select our render settings. And now it should grab our render settings. Let's make it black. Yeah. So now I see that my render settings are working. So this doesn't look like particles. It's more of a blob thing. So let's decrease the scale of the particles. Let's say 0.1 and hit the reload button. Yeah, this is how they should look like. Okay, actually we can decrease this to 0.5 maybe, because we have a lot of particles. And let's hit the full reload. Yeah, I think this might look good. Yeah. So maybe we can decrease the light intensity. So let's go to the power and let's say we want them to be like 20 or maybe 30. Yeah, 30 is good. Okay, now let's go to the interesting part, setting different attributes and using them inside Octane without transferring the Alembic file to Cinema 4D. Okay, now we should go to the geo node and let's create some attributes. First of all, yeah, let's create some attributes. Let's minimize this, and we should go attribute create. And actually, first of all, we need to get a group of points, and we will be applying this attribute to the group. So let's select group. Let's change the group type to points, and let's also name this group so emissive points. Now it's up to you how you would like to choose which points will be emissive and which will not, but we can go to the geometry spreadsheet and check what attributes we have here. So let's just try source pt_num. Okay, so in the base group we are writing source pt_num. Let's say more than 200. Nothing changes. What if we go? Yeah, less than 200. And we see some of the particles here and there. Yeah, we see definitely a bunch of particles here, some of them there. So if we increase it less than 500, we have more particles that will be glowing. Let's get back to our camera. I think that's kind of 300. Okay, maybe 200 will be good. Okay, now we need to drop the attribute create, and the attribute name will be glow. And basically it will be a float. The default value will be 0, and the value for the points that are in our group will be 1. And we need to specify this group here. You can click this triangle drop down, and there will be a group called emissive points, or how did you call it before. So basically that's it. Now to the Octane. Let's go to the shopnet. No, not the shopnet. We actually, if you hit the middle mouse button on attribute create, and just for the convenience, we'll drop a null and call it out. And this out has different attributes, and one of them is actually our glow. And if we open the geometry spreadsheet and write down the glow in the attribute filter, you will see that every point until the 200, those are just too many points. So yeah, you will see that everything less than 200 is 1, and everything that's 200 plus, those are 0. So we can use this attribute in the Octane settings. Here, if you select the geo node and open the Octane tab and open the particles tab, you will see the checkbox pack color alpha attributes into the UV map. So the color attribute, it's easy, it's just a CD, but we don't need that. We need actually our attribute called glow. And now we can do the magic. Now let's go to the shopnet, to the particle materials, and let's create just 2 separate materials. One of them will be the glossy octane, which will be kind of a gray, maybe a bit more rough, and the second one will be diffuse. And diffuse, basically, because only the diffuse material can have the emission. And let's write the black body emission. let's wire it up with the emission channel here, and let's drop a material mixer, and here let's pin the material 1 and material 2, and the amount is something interesting. So let me just free up some space. Now we are dropping the texture image grayscale, and here in the file name you should open the alpha 4K map, which is located in your Octane for Houdini folder. So my path is local disk C, or wherever is your Octane folder, and then there will be a folder called text, and in that folder you will find alpha 4K map. Also there's a RGB 4K map, and you should use that if you want to grab a CD or the vector value from your particles. If you want to grab only the float, we can use this alpha 4K map. Now, actually, this should not be the float, it should be the grayscale. The image grayscale. Oh, actually, yeah, it's a float. So, never mind, alpha 4K, and we just plug that into the amount. And now let's plug that to the material and open our Octane IPR. Let's hit the reload. It's looking good, but we don't see any emission, I think. I think that we should also change these two. The glossy should be material 2, and the diffuse should be material 1. Okay, I was checking why it wasn't working, but actually you might need to press the reload button here in the Octane, and it really bothers me in a lot of projects, but it is how it is. I mean, just don't forget to hit the reload button, because I don't know why, but it wasn't updating. So here in the shopnet is basically a black body emission, and you just set the texture to it was 0.25. I'll just get these to the default values. So first of all, yeah, increase your power, and also maybe the texture. Yeah, and you can get interesting results, whether you want those to be like cold and blue, or maybe warm yellow color. Okay, this looks already good. One important note that I haven't said, that you can just plug this value of your glow parameter to the efficiency or texture. So the texture will be 0, and this could be something like this. Yeah, and now if we open the IPR, that'd be a little bit more interesting, because we have variety. Yep, that's good. But to make it even more interesting, let's I think we have quite a lot of fireflies here and noise from these. The noise is basically because those are really small light sources, and it always struggles when rendering small lights. So what we can do we should go to the shopnet, and in the camera imager we should just decrease the hot pixel removal value. So we can also maybe turn the exposure a little bit up and the gamma down, so we have the more contrast. And what I've done in the like sample work when I was doing this first time, I've also checked the camera, put the f-stop to something really low like 1.4, and picked my focus right here. Yeah, the focus. Let's pick one more time just to be safe. So I think we are done here, and let's just render it out and go inside Photoshop and check what we can do. To render this out, you should go to the ROPNet, and here you just click the output image files in the output tab. Set up the file format to the PNG 16, and the valid frame range should be render current frame, and hit. Nope, actually we need a few things. We go to the shopnet, render settings. Here, let's go to this thin lens, the camera imager, and we need to enable denoising, because this one will be pretty noisy. We should denoise it. And also, I think we don't need the background, so just hit the alpha channel in the kernel settings. So something like this. Now I think we are good to go to render this out. So we have rendered our frame, and open the Photoshop. Let's drop a background, and it looks pretty good to me. So let's just add a little bit of effects. So let's make it a smart object, and open the camera raw filter, and let's just enhance. Let's add a sharpening 20, and maybe a bit more exposure, contrast, and highlights. I want highlights here, and maybe let's add a bit more saturation. So effects, geometry, optics. Nope. Yeah, I think we are good. So yep, that's it. That's all for today, guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you learned a lot of cool features today. And there will be a second part covering particle advection, probably on Wednesday or Friday. So stay tuned, and please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram. Links are in the description. Bye.